Am I the a-hole for being annoyed my girlfriend has started dressing weird recently? My girlfriend always dressed comfortably and practically until recently. She works at a professional job and she would usually wear jeans, sneakers, t-shirts or sweaters, etc. About a month ago, she had her friends shave both sides of her head, but leave hair on the top and back of her head. I wasn't a huge fan of it, but she said she wanted it for a while, but she was too afraid of being embarrassed if it turned out badly. But now that everyone is working from home, nobody can go out. She took the chance and she loves it. Then she bleached her brown hair to blonde. Then in a week she dyed it fluorescent green. And she was buying a lot of new clothes, crop tops and tank tops, really loud pattern pants, platform sneakers that look like running shoes but have a sole that's like 3 inches tall, just generally flashy and eccentric stuff. And whenever I ask, she says that this is more her style, but she's just been more comfortable getting into it when there's less social pressure. She's stopped wearing bras and that's also awkward because I can tell she gets stares. I asked what she's going to do when she has to go back to work, and she said she'd dress appropriately but obviously couldn't change her hair. But she didn't think that would be a problem. She'd been practically indispensable during the difficult time the company was having recently, and she couldn't see there being any trouble over hair. I've said I also don't love her new look, and she's always like I don't look that different. Like it's still me, but honestly she does look really different. We had a fight after I asked her a couple times to just wear normal things when we hang out together, and she got really upset with me over it, saying that she was just trying to have some fun and try something different and it was really rude of me to tell her how to dress. Am I the a-hole for being annoyed with my girlfriend's change in style? You're the a-hole. It's a tough time for everyone and changing things up is a way of coping. Less social pressure can allow her to be more free while being stuck in the house. If you can't see beyond superficial things like hair and clothes, that's your problem, not hers. Gentle YTA from here. I understand that it's not what you like, but asking her to wear normal things was not good. You're normal, hers. She is changing her look and you don't like it. That's fine, but it's her look, and she's allowed to change it. If it bothers you that much, end the relationship. Trying to force someone into a mold that you deem acceptable is controlling and not okay. You could have approached this a lot better than you did. Have an actual conversation instead of basically telling her that her current clothes are abnormal. Honestly, I don't blame you for being against it. You got together with her and she is currently going through a period of her life when she's experimenting. Not all of it is gonna look perfect. But in the end there's not much you can do. It comes down to whether or not you are willing to stay with her even if she isn't looking or dressing the way you want. It sounds like you're the a-hole for wanting her to dress a certain way, but I get where you're coming from. You would be the a-hole if you forced her, but as things stand you gotta really talk it through and either come to understand the changes or leave. No a-holes here, but you're closer to being Tay than she is. Agreed, no a-holes. She's not an asshole for changing her style, but I can definitely see Up's perspective. I'm not attracted to unconventional styles like that at all and would be really unhappy if my partner started dyeing his hair unnatural colors and dressing like that. I don't want to be with someone who experiments with style in that way. Up's gotta consider if that's a deal breaker for him. I was on the no a-holes train until the bra thing. People are attracted to what they are attracted to. Artsy people tend to more often be attracted to people with an alternative look. More inhibited people tend to have certain preferences, etc. Sometimes it has nothing to do with what subculture you belong to, you just are more attracted to some looks than others. So to be kind of thrown off by a sudden change like that and struggle to go along with it is something I can understand. The bra thing just sounds like insecurity to me though, and I don't really think it's fair to put that on someone else just because of one's own insecurities if that makes them feel most comfortable. Agreed on the bra thing. That immediately made him into the a-hole in my book. Bras are incredibly uncomfortable and I would be absolutely livid if my partner suddenly felt he had a say in whether I wore a bra. It has nothing to do with her style or your attraction to her. It's solely about her comfort. Bras suck. Tough one, but I'm going to say no a-holes here. Girlfriend's done a total 180 on their look and it's not something you find attractive and it seems pretty extreme, but it's her expressing her style. I can see why people are saying YTA because it's her style and makes her happy. But I get where you're coming from as it's such a sudden change and not one you like. Honestly though, you just got to let her be her and let her shine to her full brightness. You can't be the person that dims her or makes her feel less herself, otherwise you'll never work. Hopefully you'll get used to it, or it might be an adjustment phase and she reverts somewhere back to the middle when life gets back to normal. Who knows? For now though, you're just going to have to be honest that you're not a fan, but keep your opinion to yourself unless asked. Maybe try and find a few positives in her new look. Good luck. I agree with this completely. It's unrealistic to expect OP to be comfortable with a dramatic transformation of the person they fell in love with. At the same time, OP's partner should be allowed to dress how they please. No a-hole here. I agree with no a-holes here, but I don't think it's that unrealistic to expect him to be okay with it. Everyone can be shallow as long as they're not mean, but this is pretty shallow to me. I started dating my husband when I had shoulder length red hair. I dyed it purple, blue and pink within a month. I shaved it all off within 6. I had a buzz cut for 2 years. Now I'm growing it out and it's finally made it a little past shoulder length. It's also my natural color now. I've also gotten 3 large tattoos in that time. I've lost weight and gained muscle. My husband has gained weight and started changing his style. He doesn't keep as closely shaved head and beard as he used to anymore. He stopped wearing Doc Martens. If he had broken up with me for any other changes, that wouldn't have been unreasonable, but this person seems like he's not ready for a real relationship that involves your partner changing a lot. When you commit to someone and get into a serious relationship, it's important to be able to grow with them. That's not a wild expectation. It's not unrealistic. You don't have to stunt your own growth if you want any chance at a lasting relationship. It's a matter of priorities. Make sure to choose your partner carefully and make your priorities match. I don't think these two are going to last much longer. Going from red to purple isn't as big of a jump as brown to green. It sounds like she dressed pretty basic beforehand, and now she's dressing in this alternative style. Your boyfriend already knew you like to dress different. OP didn't. If I was dating a guy who dressed in slacks and Patagonia sweaters, I would be very confused if he suddenly started to dress punk. Other than that, I agree with the later half of your comment. No holes here. Maybe she's not the girl for you, bud. Edited, NTA to NAH. My thoughts exactly. Having an opinion doesn't make you an R, and it seems as though you've communicated with her in a civil manner. However, if she feels this look is more her, and you find that you aren't attracted to it or it's changing how you feel about her, then maybe you're just not right for each other, and there's nothing wrong with that. NAH. NAH, you're allowed to not like her new look and express that in a limited manner to get your point across and then stop. She's allowed to ignore your preference and keep wearing it, and you're both allowed to decide whether this is a deal breaker. YTA, if you think you will date the same person for years and they not change, you are mistaken. Clothes and hair are just that. It should not change how you feel about somebody, especially at this point in the relationship. It just looks like you are trying to control another individual's right to be an individual. YTA, it does sound like she's dressing and styling her hair in an unconventional way, and I think it's okay to be honest, if tactful, about the fact that you prefer the way she dressed before the current global crisis. But if you're now asking her to just wear normal things when we hang out together, especially when you're literally hanging out at home, you're basically saying the way she's been dressing lately is abnormal, and you want her to wear something other than what she likes when she's with someone who's supposed to care about her. In all likelihood, her style will mellow out once she's back in the workplace, but for now, I don't really understand why you can't just let her have some fun. If he really finds it unattractive, I can see where it could become an issue. I don't like facial tattoos or tattoos on the hand. If my wife got one, it would be an instant turn off for me. I suspect she would say the same. Or if I decided that I wanted to have a mullet and a mustache, my wife would probably hate it, and might not be attracted to me anymore. I think the difference is that tattoos are permanent, whereas cutting, dyeing hair and wearing different clothes is not. I've done both and I'm usually back to looking pretty normal within a few weeks, sometimes months if it's an extreme haircut. I think she's just experimenting to cope, which is a pretty harmless way of coping. OP is being more than a bit controlling and trying to tell her what to wear for the sole purpose of he thinks she looks better than way. Overall, YTA. YTA, not for being annoyed or confused, but for asking her to dress differently again. She can wear whatever she wants and change her hair however, and if you don't like it or you feel like she changed too much for you to keep up with her, it may be time to consider leaving the relationship. She seems to be happy with her new choices. A big part of a healthy relationship is communication. He's NTA for asking her to stop doing something that makes him uncomfortable. That's what communication is. Her choosing not to compromise, while well within her rights, is a red flag. Should she have to go back to the way things were? Number. But she should be willing to make 1 or 2 concessions to keep the person she loves happy. She should be asking questions like, which changes are making you unhappy, instead of just outright refusing to compromise at all. This could probably be solved by finding a middle ground solution, but it doesn't seem like she's being considerate enough to even try. That compromise logic works for some things, but not for trying to get someone to wear something different or styling their hair differently just because they don't like it. That's just controlling. She doesn't owe it to him to change the way she dresses because he's unhappy. As a woman who goes through many phases, I would say she changed a lot and it's hard to adjust to such extremes. Also, in a lot of companies, if you fail to conform to dress code standards, you will lose your job. I've seen it happen. I understand your concern and you aren't wrong for worrying about it. But you can tell her what to and not to do, no matter the good intentions. Let her ride this out, and you'll just have to see what her work says. Let her have fun while she can. YTA, not for expressing that you're not a fan. Communication is great. No, specifically YTA for asking her to dress normally whatever she feels comfortable wearing and what she enjoys is normal. You're allowed to express you're not a fan, but the moment you start trying to control what she wears through social manipulation, describing her new clothing as abnormal by telling her to wear normal stuff, is an attempt to socially manipulate her into feeling uncomfortable in these new items and thus produce the clothing worn that you approve of. NaH. She's not an asshole for changing what she's into and you're not an asshole for not being attracted to the person she's choosing to become. It just sounds like you're growing apart. If you think about the changes in her appearance and personality and it's not something you want in a significant other, then let her know how you feel in a calm and straightforward way. If she likes what she's becoming now, and there's nothing wrong with any of it, and has no intention of going back after the quarantine ends, then it's probably time for you guys to go your separate ways. Maybe she is just doing all of this as something fun to keep her mind occupied. Then probably let it go for the short term if want and see what happens. Or maybe she'll realize the level it bothers you and not care about the changes enough to keep them. Anyway, it just sounds like everyone has their thing here and nobody sucks. NTA, you aren't attracted to that. Plain and simple. People in here saying that it's her just expressing herself aren't taking into account the fact that you aren't attracted to the way she is expressing herself. You've already told her that you aren't attracted to that and she continues to do it. Both of you need to work this out together, and don't expect her to completely reverse her decision. She obviously likes that style and it makes her feel good, but this did kind of come out of the blue and it's not what you are attracted to. Just keep talking to her. NTA. I'm of the crazy opinion that couples should at least consider their partner's preferences and attractions before changing their physical appearance. She's not beholden to what you want, but you should have known about the changes before they came. I'd be a little annoyed as well. Just because she wants to become a different person doesn't mean you're obligated to be attracted to that new person. You aren't married. Maybe you two just aren't compatible anymore. You both need to decide for yourselves whether her new style is a deal breaker. Regardless, it's not cool to make changes like that and leave your partner in the dark. Yeah, I'm sad that I had to scroll this far down for this comment. I don't always dress with my partner in mind, but I often do. And I especially do if we are going out together. If I change my whole style to look like someone that my partner is embarrassed to be seen with in public, then I wouldn't expect to be together for too much longer. The number of people on this thread who think that OP's preferences are invalid are baffling.